Gladiator, Ridley Scott, now we're talking. Or are we? You may have heard me in a previous video discussing some of those old Italian pepla of the early 1960s, that I'd rather watch those films than Ridley Scott's Gladiator, because those films have less pretensions. And look, that's possibly true. Sometimes you just want to watch something that's 90 minutes instead of 2.5 hours. And also, I just find like the Russell Crowe close-ups and him being all serious in Actor Man, I just find it a bit unlikable and corny, frankly. That's just me personally. I'm not making an objective. This is just something that might not tick other people off, but it just kind of irritates me personally. It's whatever. Some actors just rub people the wrong way, I guess. But aside from that, look, glorious production values, Joaquin Phoenix is great, and the moments when we're in Gladiator becomes, mainly in the action sequences, this vainglorious pepler with a budget, it can be a lot of fun. That chariot battle in the arena, the sequence of the barbarians at the start, him battling Tigress, those three sequences, spectacular. Possibly the most, well, almost definitely more exciting than anything in the peplum genre. Although you've got like that homage to the lady from Shanghai at the end of Antonio Margheriti's The Devil of the Desert against the Son of Hercules. Ridley Scott's Gladiator was also, frankly, I think part of why it was so hyped is because, well, firstly, the scale of Gladiator was, if you think of Gladiator as it's easy to maybe think less of Gladiator now and think of it as a film of the 2000s, but if Gladiator had come out in 1999, think about what a superlative production we would consider it as now. But because it's just right on the cusp there at 2000, you can almost forget how enormous Gladiator would have been at the time. This is prior to the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring even coming out, so for a period of time there, Gladiator was as good as it got. And I know you had things like The Matrix, which yeah, that was very big and very popular. And before the Matrix sequels had come out, I imagine things were less diluted then. You know, I don't hate the Matrix sequels, but you know. And the Phantom Menace was, I guess, disappointing to a lot of people. I don't hate the Phantom Menace, but injured masterpiece, wounded classic. And Gladiator's rather likable. The thing that puts me off rewatching Gladiator, though, is just like, I don't get that involved in Maximus's story. I don't care. I'd want, I care. That's the thing. Like, you don't need me to sympathize with a guy whose family had been murdered. Like, that's easy for anyone to sympathize with. But the whole film becomes about this great man, Maximus. It's just like, he don't need to be Hamlet, you know what I mean? But otherwise, and it's a film I'm excited to watch because certain scenes will come on, but then it's like, oh man, I gotta get to 40 minutes before this. That's my issue with it. I'm more of an admirer of Kingdom of Heaven, personally. And it's important to also note, I was going to mention this before, Gladiator was the first good, or even approaching really good, Ridley Scott film in some time. So you had The Duelists, and then you had Alien. And this guy seems like he's going to be the next Stanley Kubrick, and beginning his adulated peak earlier than Kubrick's had in his career, though perhaps about in line with what Kubrick's age would have been and what Scott's age would have been, to be fair. And then Blade Runner, well, the Blade Runner Relove actually came out in 1992, didn't it? Or 91, excuse me, I think. And look, Legend is amazing, but unless you were in Europe, you didn't see the good cut of Legend, frankly. And then you had some nonsense, like Someone to Watch Over Me, and Black Rain, Thelma and Louise, 1492, White Skull, G.I. Jane. This is no Kubrick. Gladiator. Then you almost had a career pickup. Hannibal's not uninteresting. I'm not a Black Hawk Down kind of guy, Matchstick Men, Kingdom of Heaven, I was praising earlier. Good Year, American Gangsters, it's okay, but it's kind of isn't it? Body of Lies, Robin Hood, Prometheus is one of the better ones here, which is saying something, actually. Prometheus could have been a heck of a lot worse. Counselor, yikes. The Martian, that wasn't that great, was it? Alien Covenant, that could be a heck of a lot worse too. There's some junky things about that movie. Obviously, I think there's a new one coming out. I still haven't seen Prey. That might be fun for the channel. All the money in the world. That was thrown out of popular culture as soon as it came out due to associations with Harvey Weinstein, I believe. It's probably not a very good movie either. House of Gucci looks boring. The Last Duel looks boring. I've heard from reliable sources that Napoleon ain't that great, which is a shame because, I mean, he's definitely not Kubrick if his Napoleon film ain't that great. Kubrick wanted his Napoleon film to be the best film ever made, and I don't think Scott's is. How's Gladiator? It's not bad.